65. Let me see your hand. 65. Thank you so much for coming. We look forward to this every year, and we have new people to come. Is this your first year? Raise your hand. Oh, that's right. And each year we find some notable people to induct with our Hall of Honor and Hall of Fame, and we're having another group today, and so this is going to be a good opportunity. The rest of all is from please. Father, we come to you and we thank you for today. We thank you for the day we ain't completely seen yet. And we ask that you be with us today as we honor some people that are very, very special. Thank you for the relationships that are built in this school that last forever. Because friends are friends forever. We do enjoy this, and we thank you for that. Thank you for this school. I ask that you bless this faculty and this administration, Ms. Winky and her team, that you would honor them in a very special way as they teach these young people to come through the hallowed halls of Soho. Thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Henry. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Ms. Heather Noel and the South Houston High School Choir.
Thank that shaped your experiences here. We are excited to share your successes and hearing about your journeys since graduation, and our teachers we recognize today who inspire their students for decades. I'd like to introduce our special guest from the district here today, so please stand and be recognized. Board members, Casey Phelan, President, Tony Fernandez, Vice President, and member Marshall Kendrick. From Central Administration, Superintendent Dr. Deanne Powell, Deputy Superintendents Dr. Troy McCarley, and Dr. Tony Lopez. Associate Superintendents Dr. Leah Harrell, and Mr. Joseph Vega. From our Educational Foundation, Emily Ontiveros is joining us. Also, if you work in curriculum and instruction, please stand. And there's a few. And finally, if you work anywhere in the district celebrating with us today, please stand. South Houston High School is a very special place. We are proud of so many things, including having the strongest alumni association in the district and the standard for which the other associations were built. If you are alumni here, please stand and be recognized. I promise not to be long, but I want to share 3 things that we remind our students daily. 1, it's a great day to be a Trojan. In fact, it's even on the wall when you came down the main hall. 2, do what's right, go Trojans. And 3, our motto, which is enter with honor and exit with pride. Today is the best example of this. It is an honor to be a student here at South Houston High School. Their academic journey includes integrity, respect, and commitment to uphold a positive reputation, and then exiting after graduation, leaving high school proud of their achievements, contributions to the school and community, and fostering a lasting connection with their alma mater. So today, as you walk through these familiar halls, let the echoes of laughter and lessons learned here resonate. Your achievements inspire our current students, showcasing the incredible possibilities that lie ahead. Take pride in the legacy you've contributed to. So in closing, again, welcome, and to you, welcome back to our alumni. I hope you know you will always have a home here at South Houston High School. And a selfish plug before I turn the mic back. Remember to come out. The game tonight starts at 7 o'clock. We're going to meet Brigham. Our kids love seeing bands in the stands. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock, as I said, but the band will be showcasing its halftime performance before the game. So they're going to march at 5 o'clock. That way we can have our halftime, crowning all of our king and queen and all of the homecoming activities at halftime. So please come out early. Stay long, stay loud, be loud. Anything else, Coach? Can you tell them? He's wearing all black even though it's red out, and we say, oh, it's red out today. Why are you wearing black? And he said, well, there's a funeral today. So before I give the mic back to Mr. Adams, I want to thank every gentleman who are instrumental in coordinating today's activities. Wayne Adams, Herman Munster, and Al Carter, please stand and be recognized.
87, but I have all of our high schools running through my blood because I'm proud to serve as superintendent of schools with this board of trustees that has allowed us to do so much for our students and staff. All of you are, like Andrea said, setting the standard for across the district for alumni and coming back and showing your love and support for your, not only your community, but the students that still walk the halls. And we're excited about naming our new inductees into the Hall of Honor. We want the characteristics and the traits that each of them have to be a model for the students that are here today and for the students that will follow. So again, we're super excited. I won't say that there's a funeral tonight, but good luck, Coach. And good luck to our South Houston Trojans. And of course, we're going to have a good time at the game tonight, so I encourage you to come out as well. And just continue to be involved. If you haven't liked the school district or South Houston High School on social media, I encourage you to do that. Our kids are doing amazing things across this district from one corner to the other, and our staff are the best of the best. And I'm proud of our South Houston staff, and of course, staff in the 67 other schools that we serve. But just want to say a huge thank you for this Alumni Association, and I hope others will catch on and be just as big and as awesome as you are. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Cowell. We really appreciate you being here with us and all of our administration and board members. Before we begin the induction ceremony, I want to ask those, how many people in here are members of the South Houston High School Hall of Honor already? Stand up. We appreciate all of you being here today to support our new inductees. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our MC for the induction ceremony and the annual award presentation, Mr. Herky Munster.
How many people here from labor? Do we have any labor people? If you raise your right hand and swear to be a loyal Trojan here on the United States, we welcome you. And we're going to enjoy being with you tonight. Well, welcome honored inductees and our distinguished guests and our alumni. It's always fun to see you come back here every year. On behalf of the South Houston High School Alumni Association, I'm honored to be a co-MC of this event. It's a special event every year. Not sure why they picked me to do this, because other than the fact that when I was in high school, I had time out and quite a bit. And I was probably referred to as a disruptor in the class. Tell jokes, had fun. I was more interested in the little girls than I was in the little lessons that you were supposed to study, but I had a good time here at South Houston. My name is Herman Munster. Yeah. You can laugh. And I get my feelings hurt when people know that. People come up and say, why did your parents name me that? Well, because we were around late before the Christian program. But here in South Houston, I was commonly referred to as Herky Munster and other things. But there were three little Munsters that attended South Houston High School. My two sisters, my older sister Nancy, who graduated in 1963, and then my other sister Carol, sitting right over here, graduated in 1965. And it was fun being able to be in the school with Carol anyway. Class of 68 was the class that I was in, was the first freshman class at South Houston. And if you were a freshman, you would get a beanie, and you would also be chosen to carry a higher classman around the campus. But one day, I was being targeted, and my sister, God love her, sent me and said he's already spoken for. So I didn't have to wear a beanie, nor did I have to carry someone else's book. This morning, we're going to induct the alumni and two former faculty members of this school. In addition, we will present the David Ainsworth Award, and that's given every year to someone who has made a at our alumni, we encourage you to support this effort. We are so fortunate to have an event like this every year. When I see spouses of some of our alumni walking up and down the hall and seeing what has been done, they just can't believe it. It's like, my high school would never do anything like this. And we were fortunate to have the participation that we do. And of course, we're so good at Cal Carter and so many others that have really put forth the effort to make this a special event every year. As I walk down the hallways, I look at the images of some of our alumni. Some of them I remember going to grade school, junior high and high school. And I realized that, those people had an impact in my life. For better or for worse, but they did have an impact in my life. And when I was growing up, I had a most interesting father. He was the real Herman Munster. Actually, there were 3 Herman Munsters, my grandfather, my father, and me. I'm the third. But my dad loved contraptions. And I don't know if you've ever seen these little rock polishing things that you throw rocks in, and you add an abrasive to it, and you let it run, and it shines the rocks, and they're real kind of neat. And I remember he got one of these things, and he found some rocks somewhere out on the beach or out in the country somewhere, and he added the abrasive in it, and he just let it run. Not only for hours, but for days, maybe weeks, whatever. And then the rocks would come out and they were polished. Really beautiful. And it dawned on me, that's kind of like life. We're kind of thrown in with other rocks, and we just kind of rub against one another, and life kind of gives us some abrasive, solutions that we have to learn to deal with. And we get closer to one another. We all rub off on one another. And I don't know who rubbed you wrong or rubbed you well as you were growing up, and who your best friends were. But I remember when somebody said that it's not what we have in life that matters, but who we have in our life. And we are fortunate to have alumni that makes contribution not only to our lives, but also to this school as well. This is a special event, especially for those that are being inducted today. We hope that you will join in celebrating this event with them as well. You may think, well, this is a little event. There are no little events. All little events become big events at some point. So this is a big event, not only for them, but for this facility as well. So, without further ado, we're going to announce our first group, the inductees and former alumni. Our first is Mr. Michael Seal, class of 63. He's deceased. Mr. Seal, I'm going to refer to him as Colonel Seal because he served in the military. He served the United States government for 44 years, 27 years in the Air Force, and he passed away in 2022. Paying tribute to Colonel Seal is his sister, Ms. Paulette Seal George from the class of 67. Paulette, would you like to step up?
Michael being asked to be in the Hall of Honor. I think he began to get recognized when he also was invited to be on an honor flight for veterans. And at that time, we were told that he needs to have letters. So the last day of the flight on the way home, he was given letters, and I contacted the school. And since he was in the band, I contacted the band. And the students all wrote him letters. It was amazing. He had so many letters from Southeastern High School. And there's someone that was part of the band that actually recognized Michael and saw his accomplishments and wanted him to be inducted into this Hall of Honor. So for our family, what we think is Michael had a great impact on people. For kids to come to this school and know that they can achieve great things. He was just a kid from Southeastern High School, lived in Pasadena, Texas. But he went on to A&M University, Gig 'em Aggies, and then straight into the Air Force. And when he got into the Air Force, he went straight to Vietnam. That was the era, that we were raised in. So So he always had an impact on people. Whenever, at one time he went to Boston, and this was after he had already retired from the Air Force. But he was in Boston, and there was a ship in the harbor that he decided he wanted to enter it because they were allowing people to visit it. So he went to the ship and toured it. And in conversations with people, they found out, of course, he was a colonel in the Air Force. So as he was leaving, he walked down the ramp and then turned and saluted the flag. And that got the ship's attention again. So they called him back onto the ship. And they took the flag down and presented it to him and told him that he was the high-ranking individual at that very moment and that he deserved the flag that was being flown that day. So he was so emotional about having someone do that for him. He was just a very loved man. I was very fortunate to be able to speak for him, for the family, even in his Air Force retirement. And all of the people that had ever served under him, they were so shocked that he was unwillingly, I should say, retired during the Reagan administration. So he went on then, as the program shows, he went on then to the state of Washington and served there for many years as well. And then, I didn't know this, but I planned a trip to Washington. And they didn't tell me, and I was going to Tulip Festival that happens every year there. So when I got there, he was like, well, we have something we need to do tonight. Is that okay? Do you want to go with us? And I'm like, well, sure. What are y'all doing? Oh, well, we're having a kind of a party. I'm like, okay, well, the next day, he said, oh, and tomorrow, I'm actually retiring from the state of Washington. So while I was there, people came from all over the state of Washington to tell him, just that kind of impact that he had. He was a great leader. His wife, Libby, also from Southeastern High School, graduated the same year. And people do find people that they meet in high school, marry, and have many, many years. I think they had 45 years together before Michael passed away. So it is our dream that being honored and having him on the Hall of Honor. The kids will walk through this school and know that they can do things. They can do great things in life.
Good morning. I'll get the homecoming thing out of the way. Class of '69, Mount Carmel High School. So about 2 months ago, I think it was, Brand sent me an email saying he was being inducted into the Sept Hall of Honor. And if I would mind coming to say a few words, would take much longer than a few minutes here to go through the times we've been through and the things that we've shared. So, you remember the movie Back to the Future? So, Brand and I's relationship is kind of like Back to the Future. So I first met the brand in a professional setting, right? I worked for NASA for 25 years, shared a lot of the same projects, a lot of the same efforts. So I knew Brand as a professional initially. And you know, the attributes that he had was smart, even though what you might have thought about him in high school. He was knowledgeable in the subject matter, and he was innovative. He and I share an architecture background, so space architect, I'm another one as well. So between he and I, professionally, in a way, helped form the basis for space architecture as is known today. So I knew Brand professionally. Well, come to find out, over the 25 or 20 years that we've known each other, I got to know Brand personally. So it's flip-flop. Y'all can use him as he said he was a star quarterback here. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? I take it from the last, maybe. So I knew Brand professionally and then came to know him personally. So it's flip-flop, right? The whole Back to the Future thing. But from a personal standpoint, things that I've learned about Brand is that he's compassionate. He's really compassionate about people, his work, his concepts, all those kind of things. The second thing, in terms of his knowledge of, say, the practicality of his solutions that he came up with during his tenure in industry, and then the third thing that's most important to me, I retired in 2019. I currently teach at University of Houston in the space architecture program that I graduated from in 1988, okay? But over the last few years, at least, I've known Brand now as a teacher. He's giving back to young people what he spent all those years learning. So that's not an easy thing to do, right? People tend to have a long career, they go off, and I don't blame them, they retire, they go off. But there are very few folks like Brand who will actually become the Yoda to the new Skywalker that's out there. So I'd like to congratulate Brand, and I value our friendship, and thank you for having me here today.
I didn't know what to expect when I came, and boy, am I impressed. You have got such a great group here. I truly am honored to be here, and honored with this award. It's pretty special. The other thing is, the photo that's on here, it's doctored up a little bit. I played football and got my front tooth chipped off in a practice. The dentist said, we're going to have to put a silver cap on. So, my junior and senior year here, I was wearing this silver cap. Then they took the senior picture. My mother goes, yikes! Because she saw the silver tooth. They didn't paint it out. This one has it painted out, but that original one didn't. And you know how mothers treasure those senior photos. So, that's a little background on that. But thank you again. I just so much appreciate the honor and special. I'll go back to Huntsville thinking about this, and really what a great organization this is. Thank you.
Our third alumni inductee is Miss Carla Thomas, class of 1980. Edwards Air Force Base in California. She currently lives in Lancaster, California. The main tribute to Miss Thomas are Miss Catherine Cat Dietrich, class of 1979, and Miss Yvette Kelly Fairchild, class of 1980. And so, as you would like to come up and speak, please do so, but we want to leave some time for the Carla to speak as well. So, who would like to come first? Don't be shy.
I didn't know that Al would be able to speak, so I'm quicker. Carla is an amazing person. I did not get to know her in high school, and honestly, I think that's because we would have ended up in jail. She's a delight, and she is one of the most impressive photographers I've ever seen in my life. If you haven't seen the photo that she took, it's coming later. It's phenomenal, and the fact that she did that inverted blows my mind. You bet.
All right, so Carla and I kind of go way back many years ago. We've known each other since probably elementary school, where we started playing crash pitch softball together at South Houston girls softball. We did not get to be in the same school together until high school, though, just because of district boundaries. But Carla's an amazing gal, and we've had a lot of fun times. I remember us driving down I-45, you in your Mustang with the top of the sunroof open, and we were passing sodas back and forth with the vehicles. But yeah, who would have thought that there's so many, all right, so show of hands, people who have worked at or for NASA in here. Clear Lake and Nassau Bay had all the astronaut kids, but the engineers who got them up there all lived over here across the street. So, kind of makes sense that we ended up there. Carla gets to fly in NASA's jets upside down and take pictures for a living, and I get to yell at people for doing stupid things with their computers. But I think that Carla really deserves this honor, and she's not the first, and hopefully will not be the last class of 1980 person on that wall. So, congratulations, Carla.
Something at school really clicked with me. I didn't have to study and work hard. I understood the math and exposure and depth of field and all those technical things. And he left, and we got, when I was a sophomore, a junior and a senior, we had a new teacher named Mrs. Bailey, and she walks in the door, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm your assistant." So she didn't even get to pick me, and we hit it off, and she had her own business, and I started working for her business, shooting proms and seniors and baseball teams and all the things that I don't like to shoot today. I'd much rather be in a jet, but she was the one that told me that, you can get a degree in photography.
So I went to Sam Houston State, and here I am. I'm not even do the math how many years it's been. South Houston has cranked out some pretty impressive people. So I'm honored to be on the Wall of Honor. I think so.
You want to tell us about this?
Well, this is the picture that Yvette and Catzilla were talking about, and I'm presenting this to the school. I was inverted, like they talked about back in Top Gun, inverted over the top of the shuttle, and this is the eastern border of California in the early morning, where the lighting was just like a photographer's perfect moment, and my guy just rolled over the top and had a few clicks and told him, nailed it! So I'm presenting this to the school. I have no idea where it's going to hang.
Right up here.
Okay, cool. And I signed it. Right, okay, I'm going down to the middle function. Smiling. Thank you. All right. Can I have that? Or I got to get that on an airplane.
Carla's right. When you walk down the hallway and you look at the alumni that have been awarded recognition, there are so many more alumni from this school that may not be up there that have done incredible things. So don't think these are special people here. They just happen to be the first round. There's others that will be coming. So you may get a call sometime. All right, I'm going to turn the program over now to another Herman Williams, who will present our David Ainsworth Award. Herman?
Now, before I introduce the speaker that's going to talk on behalf of our Ainsworth Award inductee, who's vomiting out in the class of 1965. Schools kind of build over a period of time alumni that become what you kind of call a legend. And Bobby may fit in that part from South Houston graduation program. And for y'all to understand what the Ainsworth Award is, in 2012, when we started this alumni association, there was a guy that kept coming up, and we kept hearing about this guy named David Ainsworth from the class of 1968. And he had helped a lot of classes over the time frame, just given his own time to help them come up with different kind of social media platforms and things like that. He just did that on his own. And in 2013, he died of cancer. And so at the time, we thought this was kind of a neat way to talk about people who, during the course of their time in volunteering, gave something back to alumni association members or people that was about that. And so that's what was called the David Ainsworth Award. And if y'all want to leave it out the door here, you'll see on the right, he was the first 2013 David Ainsworth named after him. And those other people are listed on this plaque as you go out. But I will say this in just a little bit, I hope I don't get into too much about some of the other about Bobby Allen. You don't have to walk around this school too much to not run across Bobby Allen. He's already in the Hall of Honor. When y'all go down to the museum, there's a reason why there's a special wall in there about Bobby Allen. Because he keeps giving back to this school. You know, his first love and his first real success in football started at South Houston. Then he carried on to Texas Tech, which that was kind of a second Nashville, then on to the Philadelphia Eagles. But yet, what he remembers the most, he remembers South Houston. And he's given back in so many different ways that some of you will probably never know or even understand. But hopefully today you'll understand why it was this year we decided to award the Ainsworth Award to Bobby Allen. And on behalf of that, then I want to introduce Coach Longstreet to kind of come up and give you a little bit of a slant on what he knows about Bobby Allen. Coach?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Coach Longstreet, the head football coach here. This is year 7 for me here at South Houston. It's been a wonderful 7 years, and each year this program just amazes me year in and year out. To be honest, when Mr. Carter contacted me and called and said, hey, you're going to speak about Bobby Allen. Bobby Allen, I said, okay, that's awesome. I also thought there's a lot of people up here that could say a lot more about Bobby Allen just because they've known him so much longer. So honestly, I think I'm here because I'm always the guy that calls Bobby for money. I'm joking. But with that, the generosity, he always says yes. He always says yes to South Houston High School. He always says yes to the South Houston High School athletes. And there's no greater feeling as a coach to know that if you need something, there's somebody there that can lend a helping hand to support the athletes. Because at the end of the day, it's always all about the kids. It's always all about the kids. A couple of things quickly about Mr. Allen. Like Herman said, his name is all over the school. It started when I first got here, the picture of him there in front of the school board. That scoreboard, unfortunately, is no longer here. One of the storms claimed victim to that. So, in honor of that, when that scoreboard went down, we put his name on the windscreen that surrounds the end zone. Will always be known as Bobby Allen Field. The kids know that we're practicing on Bobby Allen Field every single day. So, what a great tribute to him. He does a couple of special things for football that are true to my heart. Him and his family give a scholarship every year to a senior football player, and it helps them go to college. And we still have 4. I've been here 7 years. 4 of those guys are still in college. The very first one, my very first year, is already. He played 4 years. He's finished his undergrad. And he's now getting his master's at the same school. Please round of applause for that. So when I got here, there were a lot of plaques on the walls in the locker room and in the athletic hallways, and I found out that he gave a scholarship, but there wasn't a football award in his name. So we started that 7 years ago. I brought the plaque with me here. So he gives the Bobby Allen scholarship, but we do the Bobby Allen award each and every year. And I'm sure everybody knows, but what's in the bio of his story is he did not have the stellar career his first 3 years, and then his senior year, he was called upon and ended up being the shining star of the team. Scholarships galore, Texas Tech, Philadelphia Eagles, all those great things. So this award every year goes to the player that surprises the coaching staff. So this is a player that going into their senior year, we don't know what to expect from these players. But at the end of the year, they help make our season. So on this plaque are names like Richard Gallegos. Richard was my 3rd year. He was a baseball player the first 3 years. Didn't play football at all ever in his life. He ended up being a star receiver for us. So his name is on the plaque. Last year, our kicker, because we hadn't had a kicker in 3 years, we couldn't find somebody to continuously put it through the uprights. The kid comes out from soccer and says, Coach, I can do that. He ends up being an all-district kicker, so his name is on the award. So each and every year, his name will be honored, and it's not just about what he gives to the school, because of course that's those numbers are overwhelming, but this is for the players who continue his legacy of maybe the coaches don't know who he is at the start of the season, but at the end of the season, they're a superstar for South Houston High School. So, Mr. Allen, thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you so much.
We've kind of devoted a little bit of time because it seems like 1965 keeps showing up every time. I think we forgot what happened in 65, but they're all here. So we're asking a couple of those folks from the class, Henry Head, Dan Jones, or Dan Wallace, Jones, to come up. Claudia, if you'd like to come up too, and let's say a few words about Bobby. They knew Bobby firsthand when he was in high school. They know the story about Bobby. So we won't turn it over to those folks before we get to the award to Bobby.
Yeah, this is, we're proud of this man. You know, you never know who's sitting in class with you. And these teachers at this school never know who's sitting in front of them, what you're going to become and everything. And it kind of shocks people when you really become something. And this is a man that does not want all the praise and glory and the spotlight, but he was standing on the sideline, about second or third string, and the player that was playing got hurt, and the coach turned around and saw Bobby's number. What number was it, Bobby? 21. And he was a running back, for those who don't know it. And he showed him in the game. And the rest is history. And he finished out all district, and then went to Texas Tech, and then threw the Eagles. But we're proud of you, Bobby, class of 65. Thank you for helping this class of 65 continue to be the best class of the Southeastern High School. We are proud of you, Bobby. We appreciate you supporting this school, because they definitely need people everywhere to support.
Well, I'm going to give you your and your name will show it back out here. There's another place that your name is going to show it.
Get it, Coach.
Now back to Herman Munster.
Let me make this comment about Bob. His story is quite amazing here at South Houston High School. And I was a young sophomore on the sideline, and I witnessed that senior year of Bobby Young at South Houston High School. It was phenomenal. I don't believe it.
Well, Bobby, I was in the stands watching you take that ball and run with it. You remind me a lot like Forrest Gump. Run, Bobby, run! It was exciting to watch you play ball. All right, our second group of inductees are former faculty members who have served in some capacity here at South Houston High School. Our first is Mr. Eamon Alford, who was a chemistry teacher. 1959 to 1968. He is deceased. Mr. Alford was a quiet, unassuming chemistry teacher serving 10 years here at South Houston High. He also served during Coach Harry Morgan's football staff, giving oxygen to players after they didn't get off the field. Mr. Alford passed away in 1985. Paying tribute to Mr. Alford is Wayne Evans. If you took the red folder, the kitchen hall nice and easy.
This script I would read it for the other. Yeah, it's not, sorry about that. I do remember Mr. Alford as one of those teachers. Whether they're teaching advanced calculus or how to count to 10, effective teachers share certain universal traits in common. For example, all great educators have the ability to listen actively, not only to their students, but to their colleagues, school administrators, and students' family members. According to Robert Lee, ED, Dean of Stanford College of Education, a good teacher possesses qualities such as strong communication skills, empathy, and a passion for lifelong learning. Good teachers also possess a deep understanding of their subject matter and can take that knowledge and make it culturally relevant for students as they develop engaging lessons. Good teachers inspire and motivate students to reach their full potential while creating an inclusive learning environment where each student is seen, valued, cared for, and respected. You don't need to have a specific personality type to be an inspiring and effective teacher. However, there are some useful traits you should work on developing or strengthening if your goal is to be more engaging and a successful educator. Those include active listening, adaptability, collaboration, creativity, empathy, engagement, focus on growth, lifelong learning, patience, preparedness, and respect. I've chosen 5 of these qualities that I remember about Mr. Alford. Adaptability is a must for teachers who need to be continually evaluate what's working for their students and even more importantly, what isn't working. Mr. Alford seemed to understand that each student he taught had different reasons for being in chemistry. He taught to each of us on levels that make the class interesting and enlightening for all. Engagement. Students are perspective and can easily tell, or perceptive rather, and can easily tell when teachers are bored by or apathetic toward their own material. Mr. Alford was extremely passionate about chemistry and tried to instill an interest in all of his students with what he taught. Active learning. Mr. Alford encouraged students to ask questions and contact him if something was not understood. There were a few times that he gave such a simple explanation that he would take a similar approach with new data presentations. Creativity, another. Mr. Alford was a creative teacher. I never felt that he was just rehashing old data or teaching from old outlines. When he came across ways to better communicate or simply simplify a presentation, he used it in future areas of study. Another one, meet students where they are. Mr. Alford met each student differently. He seemed to be aware that each student was he was taking this class for different reasons, and he presented the information with that in mind. And last but not least, he said that cross-discipline teaching. For me, a young wannabe engineer, I left this class and entered college to study chemical engineering. I didn't stay with that study and became a mechanical engineer, but I can say that his teaching of chemistry did feed my thirst to study engineering. And this is from Bill Goffin, class of 1966. I don't have a script or anything like that, but I do remember Mr. Alford because I never had him for chemistry, and I never had him for any science classes. But he was a friend to all of us in athletics. Bobby knew him. He was here then. And he worked with the athletic program, assisting trainers with injuries on the sideline, and he operated oxygen tanks with masks for players when they came off the field. He'd give us a little juice, a little boost, and have us ready to go back on the field. And at 6'5", 250-pound defensive lineman, I needed all the help I could get. So I remember Mr. Alford. He was a very kind man, always never a shortage of smiles. And there was always a pat on the back for you in the hallway when you saw you. So I'm privileged to be up here today, to be able to present this in his honor. So thank you very much.
Wayne, like you were being refreshed on the sidelines with oxygen, I was up in the stands being refreshed with Coca-Cola. He was I did not have this offer as well, but I did. He was a towering individual. Everyone was towering to me. But he was a gentleman from what I remember. Our last inductee is Mr. Patrick Fox. Here from 2000 to 2022. This is ceased. Mr. Fox was a science teacher and considered to be everyone's favorite colleague and everyone's friend. Before arriving here at South Houston in 2000, he taught and coached sports for 6 years at Sam Rayburn High. How did you plan that? I mean, you're such a creative guy. Mr. Fox passed away in 2022 during medical treatment. In tribute to Mr. Fox will be several individuals here. Elton Dyer, class of 2014, former student and current Southeastern High School coach, and Master Sergeant Jamel Cheeks, naval science instructor here at Southeastern and former colleague. And then his widow, Mary, we hope she would like to share some things as well. So, Elton?
Yes.
I think I'm going to call me 1965 when you were the best class. Sorry, it was class of 2014. When Mr. Carter asked me to talk, it's just like, I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's been already a year and a couple of months, or 2 years. I'm just sitting in my room yesterday, I'm like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? I can't tell a joke because they're not PG-13. And Mrs. Fox, they're probably mainly about you, I'm sorry. It's going to kill me tonight, my dreams. I was one of his students, and I was one of his case managers, the second teacher in the class. And what he taught me, and just being a student in his class, and working for him, he taught me how to be a teacher, and what I have to bring to Southeastern, because we don't know where these kids want after school, right? And then the environment around there. He taught me to have love, respect, loyalty, and care. He showed that every single day to his students, to his co-workers, to his boss, just the character. But I take that as in the loyalty part was the biggest part for me, because he didn't have to, he could have retired a long time ago, the right Mrs. Fox. And he kept coming every single day, sick, like he would come sick, losing his voice. Sometimes he'll get me trying to teach his class, which was a blessing because he threw me in the fire, and I remember what I take from him from the loyalty is in November he was supposed to get his surgery, and he said, Coach Dyer, I would take my day, but these kids gotta learn, and I don't think you can teach them. So he pushed his surgery to December, but right there showed me the commitment he had for his school and for his kids. So I said I wasn't gonna talk about Dallas because we know Mr. Fox and Dallas football, it's totally like, I'll come to class and I'm like, oh, what type of day it is, because Dallas lost the night before, so. But thank you, Mr. Carter, for allowing me Fox, or I chose this one because I know he's going to come to my dreams tonight. I really do. My wife and kids over there. I'm going to say all that. But thank you, and I enjoyed it.
This is Master Sergeant Jamal G.
Good afternoon, everyone. There's 5 things I'd like to share about Patrick Fox. I'll start off with a poem and share with you some characteristics that I think you would agree, characteristics that certainly resonated with me, and we'll introduce this very short clip, video clip behind it. The poem, Invictus, Latin for unconquerable. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. But under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears, looms but the horror of the shade, yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. The poem is intended to strengthen the Fox family and to remind them to stay strong and unconquerable. That was tough. The characteristics of Patrick Fox. He was a modest person, and I'll thus explain. We had many conversations. One of which I remember was regarding his wife. And he mentioned, dude, my wife is melody. I said, well, what do you mean? And he went on to share that she was a physician and had or has her own practice, I'm not sure. And he also reminded me that she was really lucky to meet him and how great of a catch she was. Another characteristic, he was intellectually curious. I'll share what I mean by that. One day, Fox and I were talking, and I mentioned to him that my wife and I had bought a new home in Mountain. And he said, I live in Mountain. Maybe I could stop by. Where in Mountain do you live? I said, well, it's a relatively new subdivision. It's near a Toyota dealership off of 288 going north. So this was a Friday. Monday, he comes to M100, and M100, and he says, Jamal, I saw that your fence is down. When will the pool be finished? I'm ready to get in. I said, well, how did you know I was getting a pool bill? Well, I just went by your house. So, characteristic, intellectually curious. He was a leader. As I mentioned, he would often come to M100, often uninvited. He had a key. He had a key to every room. And he shared with me that he was once an assistant principal and that he would go into any room that he darn well pleased. And I appreciate his candor and his leadership, because oftentimes he would come and it would be his business would just be right on time. His leadership not only resonated with me as a teacher, but the faculty, and of course the students, as you heard Mr. Elton Dyer mention. And now, finally, the video. This was sent October 2021, and I kept it, and I would listen to it and watch it for I don't know how long. There's a picture, is a clip of his daughter, and I believe his daughter's husband.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Make sure I get that one. Okay, there it goes.
Marathon, deliberately finished. What do you think, Jamal?
So he's bragging about and justifiably so his daughter completing Marine Corps Marathon, 26.1 miles, and finishes in front of the Iwo Jima flag raising memorial there in, if I'm not mistaken, Pensacola, Virginia. Patrick Fox, a friend, a brother, he's missed. Thank you.
Dr. Fox, would you like to come in?
I'm Becky, and I'm here to speak on Mary's behalf. Before I do, though, I want to say, Mr. Allen, thank you for all the things you did. I worked here when C.L. Williams was the athletic director, and he really benefited from being friends. Really appreciate it. Also, I want to say the class of 1980 wins the attendance award tonight. I became friends with Patrick when I was an administrator here. I got to supervise science, which I liked to be his boss. He wore me out. Patrick is like the analogy of the rock polisher. He's a polisher of people. And the people in his polisher were definitely his students, his friends, and his family. Patrick was fun to be with because all of that was wrapped up in fun. He was the kind of person you like to get in trouble with. And many of us did. Patrick, as an educator, made a big difference to kids, and that's why you're honoring him today. When you would walk past his classroom, whether you wanted to talk to him or not, he came and got you. You might be on your way to the gym to look in someone's locker to see what was in there, and he'd say, well, it'll still be there, come here. And, well, a lot of teachers would prefer not to have their administrator in the classroom with him. He would have been fine if I stayed there 24 hours a day with him. He was so enthusiastic about teaching his social studies background, and he taught himself science, or he teach science. So I do agree with the comment that he was passionate and that he was inquisitive, and he was an amazing person. And it showed to his kids, it made a difference to them. And so I know that he touched hundreds of them, and he also touched on the faculty here. Everyone loved him. And he was larger than life in his, both his personality and his stature. He, in his classroom, would coach. Even though he wasn't coaching athletics anymore, he didn't sit down. He took his reading glasses on and off constantly. He was thinking, he was watching, and if you didn't understand perfectly and couldn't tell him what you understood perfectly in that lesson, he repeated and figured out how to get you there. So it was a constant state of adjustment. As a teacher, he sought out instructional materials that we still use all over this district and begged for them. I work at the admin building now, so he would call me because I'm over science still. He'd call and say, we just gotta have this stuff, we just gotta have it. And I would say, but it costs like $1 million, Patrick. And he's like, I don't care, it's my money, I don't care. And so we have it because of him. So every science class in this school district at the secondary level benefits from the things that he advocated for kids to this day. He was very, very proud of his family. And I know that his kids do because you didn't talk to Patrick very long, maybe 60 seconds seconds that he didn't bring up something about his family. What just happened, what accomplishment they just made, something funny that happened, something he wanted you to pray for them about. I didn't meet all of them right away, but I knew them. Colin, you're the youngest. I remember when you came rolling in on a flatbed dolly because he had books to distribute and you were helping him, and you were probably 2, maybe 1. He was awesome, and he raised awesome kids. I know he was an awesome husband. That is the biggest tribute that we can give someone when they do that with their family and also give all that they've got at work. So while there's some incredibly deserving people here that are being honored, there's no one more deserving today than Patrick. We miss him. I think we'll always miss him. But he is special, and I hope that you can feel how special he is. If you're here to support Patrick, would you stand, please?
Thank you, Becky, and everyone of the committee for making this happen and honoring him today. Real quick, my brother's from Dobie, and we lived in basically Dobie's backyard for 30 years. And I constantly tried to get him to move to Dobie and teach at Dobie because the gas was really cheap and the drug car, and he never considered it. He said that he left the school and that he was needed here. And I just want to thank the school for recognizing his passion and the love that he has for the staff and the students at the school.
By the way, Dr. Mary Fox was inducted into the Dobie High School Alumni Hall of Fame back in 2013. Well, congratulations to all our inductees. We thank all of you for being here. Go Trojans, today and forever. And keep the spirit alive. This is a great school. Great things happen here. Great people come from Southeast. Now I'm going to turn it over to Wayne Adams for some closing comments.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. I want to thank everyone here today for being here to help us recognize and celebrate some really fantastic people. It takes a lot to put an event like this on, so there are some thank yous that I would kind of like to pass out. First, Ms. Wendy and her staff here, Aaron Smith. Our luncheon today, we really appreciate that. Of course, Ms. Noel and her choir, which you will see again here in just a minute. And of course, Ms. Alba, Catherine Alba, and her culinary arts program. Foundation for the flowers on the table. By the way, she wants to give those pieces, flower centerpieces, to whoever, I'm not going to say the oldest, but whoever's class number is the lowest at that table. But those donations to the school that can help programs here at the school. Over the years, I can tell you that we've purchased a band trailer for the band. We've also provided Coach Longstreet and his football program this year a new run crew. We're going to continue to support programs at South Houston High School. So as we go, just a couple of examples. But folks, that takes money. And we're always open to donations and so forth to help us carry out our goals and things like that. If I would direct you to our Facebook page, also to the website, it's shhsalumni.org. There's a way on there if you want to make a donation, use that QR code there on the website. But we can use your help so that putting on events like this and helping the school with other things that they need from time to time, that is our goal. So we would appreciate your support, whatever you can do to help us out. Also, I want to remind you of some things. We have punch cookies back in the back. Please stay around and socialize. Ms. Alba has all that ready for you back there. We also want to remind you about the pep rally that's going to take place today in the main gym about 1:30. Is that correct?
1:20 is when we're just down there.
1:20 is when they're going to dismiss the students to head down there. You're invited to come to the pep rally and participate there with that. Also want to remind everyone about the alumni picture this afternoon at 4 o'clock at City's Restaurant on Spencer. There'll be hors d'oeuvres, drinks for everyone, complimentary from the Alumni Association. We hope you can join us. And of course tonight, we hope you're there at Memorial Stadium to cheer on the Trojans against Weber. And I think that game tonight starts at 7 p.m. Correct, Coach? Again, I want to thank you for being here. Very important that you're here to help us honor these folks. And now to close our program, I would like to invite Ms. Noah